I love the beginning. It says guilty of crime. Absolutely. I'm Jay with guilty of crime, and we're back. As you can tell, I've had a week. It's great. Halloween was great. The birthday shenanigans, everything was great, but I'm tired, y'all. I don't even want to comb my hair today. Hence the hat. What's up, everybody? We're back. I'm ready. I'm sitting here. I'm ready to go. Let's talk about this. Did you all know that Jay Carl tried to take his own life before he was sentenced? That's what we're talking about today, folks. First, we're going to just break down Jake Harrow's sentence and talk about him trying to take his own life and what transpired, the Perkins deal, and why baby Emmanuel hasn't been found. And what is going on with Rebecca Haro, guys? Come on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Man, I realize on weeks like this, when I'm just so tired, I'm like, it's a lot of effort to do every day. Like, do. Tell the story. It's a lot, but I appreciate y'all for being here with me. Good to see you, Tara. And I'm going to give some memberships today, y'all. So come on in, hang out for a while. We're going to be here. Maggie Duke, good to see you. That's why I came today. Jay Carl was sentenced. As you know, many people were confused about the sentencing. I noticed people saying different things. And Kathy P was so kind to send me over not only the breakdown of the information, but also she sent over uh, a little bit about, well, a lot about Jake Harrow trying to take his own life. And that makes sense, how he was crying for himself in court. Again, we're going to go over all that. We're going to start off with breaking down the sentencing. And then, of course, we can't forget what is happening with Rebecca. She's got a court date, guys, coming up in February. So she's not going to be even close to being sentenced or any of this until next year. But what are we doing in the meantime? Where's Emmanuel Haro? I ask. What is Jake going to be doing? Do you think he's going to be able to make it to even be transferred to prison if he couldn't make it in county jail, y'all, for being a baby killer? What do you think? And now that you know that he tried to take his own life, we'll talk about that, fill it in, and do all the details. Baby Emmanuel, this case is far from over. All right. We still have Rebecca to deal with. Jake hasn't been transferred, and he tried to take his own life, which, in my opinion, I believe that him trying to take his own life definitely affected the reason that he pled guilty and wanted to move forward with this. He knew that in the Perkins deal with the undercover officer planted in his cell and him going out and trying to show where Emmanuel's body was, he knew that was going to affect the outcome of him pleading not guilty, etc. So there's a lot. The Emmanuel Haro case is not over. We have not found this beautiful little angel, and Rebecca has not been held accountable. Rebecca says, hola. And Beach Lover says, adios. Come on in, guys. I know I rolled in a few minutes early, but that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to go back. He did not, in fact, try to take his life last night. He tried to take his life before he was even sentenced. So that's what we're going to talk about, is him taking his. I didn't know that. I did not know that he tried to take his own life. And we already knew that he was a little bitch, right? We knew that Jay Caro is a baby killer. He hurts children, and well, he's a bitch, in my opinion. Lisa Thompson, shout out to you. My first live with you. Come on in, hit that like button. I'm going to give some memberships away today, so welcome. I've got my goal up there. If you guys have the means to get a membership, gift a membership, or any of the things that we do. Nancy Jean, good to see you. Kristen Perry, how you doing? Shadow, Turtle, Suit Jake. That's what I'm talking about. Turtle, Suit Jake. Pink Rose, good to see you. He's a mangina, and we see that he's got a Ken doll figure for a body. There's nothing going on between up here and down there, right? Just a piece of trash, in my opinion. All right. So, Anne, good to see you. Melissa, I always see your comments. Michelle, good to see you. He tried to take his own life before he even got sentenced, and that is why I believe he pled guilty in the first place. But hopefully, jail justice gets this monster. I don't think he's ever getting out, guys. Hey, mom, good to see you. Love you. Happy midweek. Sunlime. Hola, Jay. Show so love, Jay. Thank you, Shoot for the Stars. All you guys, come on in, hit that like button, and then share. For those of you that didn't realize, first of all, number one, the sentencing. He got over 30 years and was denied any kind of probation. He's probably never going to get parole. We can absolutely call him a loser, call him what a pussy he is, what a bitch he is, call him all the things. Melissa, I'm here tonight. Tell my story quickly. Love you. I post your story, my love. I post your story. I don't know your story, but I post it, and I've been really busy. So let's get into this first so that I know all the people will want to know everything about him taking his own life, where that came from, why, and what, right? Space Case, he should have got L up. I agree. But let's break down what he did get for those of you that didn't. I didn't watch the full thing with you guys. I didn't break it down. We glossed over it, took a look. But let's take it real quick, and then we'll talk about this piece of trash, Jake Haro, who took baby Emmanuel's life, and he also ruined his 10-week-old child that's now years old that has everything but she has her life, and that's it. He took her eating, he took her brain power, he took her walking, he took her eating, he took everything from the first child, and then he moved that over and did that to little Emmanuel. And well, we know that he's an abuser as well. We're pretty sure he was also abusing Rebecca, which gives her absolutely no excuse. Hello, nice to catch a live. Miss you, Alexandra. Good to see you, my friend. All right, how old is he now, and how old will he be when he gets out? Well, I'll post that up there for a minute because Jay Carl took his son Emmanuel's life. He gets more than 30 years in prison. All right, so let's look at this piece of trash. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how he tried to take his life and what happened. All right, so he's sentenced, guys. He's got more than 30 years. He is 10 years younger than Rebecca. Rebecca's in her 40s. He's in his early 30s. If he does almost all of his time, he's not going to be out until his mid 60s. All right. And I have a feeling that they are not going to just give this monster parole very easily. And that's because the first judge messed up, let him walk, and look at what happened. What's up, Prophet Frere? Good to see you. Good to see all of you. Emily from South Texas. Angela, good to see you. I don't think he's going to make it out. When you guys hear about how this piece of trash tried to take his life before he even told us where baby Emmanuel was, then you'll understand what I'm talking about today, all right? Jay the Italian cook, he's never going to see parole. Never. Grace Kirk, good to see you. Let's break it down so you guys understand. He's in his early 30s. He's got more than 30 years in state prison. I'm going to tell you the breakdown. All right, now let's just quickly go over. He admitted to taking the life of 7-month-old son Emmanuel Haro. He was sentenced yesterday to more than 30 years, and I'll tell you why. In state prison, and he hasn't even made it there. He tried to take his life in county jail before the deal. Now, bringing to a close one half of the court case investigated by both Sheriff's Department and Inland Empire. All right. And it captured the media's attention. I mean, we had Dolly flying down to California and several other YouTube creators we met on the theater through this case, right? A lot of people, a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. Now, Superior Court Judge Gary Polk sentenced Haro. Now, you guys know 32 years old. He's 32 years old, and he's a monster. There was 111 in chat, so say a prayer that Emmanuel is found and gets the justice he deserves. All right, you don't think he'll have a hard time in prison, but he also tried to take his own life before he even made it to sentencing. So I don't see how he's going to make it through prison with people on his ass the way they are. All right. Tallahassee, what's up, Angela? Where is Emmanuel? Just tell exactly. Well, he may be using that as a bargaining chip with Rebecca as well. We don't know if he's going to testify against her. There's speculation to that. All right. So he's 32 years old, guys. 32. All right. 32 to 7 years, 2 months for a probation violation and other charges, which he will begin serving first. So he's got the 7 years. All right. He's got the 180 days. And when his time is complete, he's going to serve 25 years to life for an assault on a child under the age of 8 causing death. Now, Emmanuel Haro's remains, where they are still unclear. All right. During the hearing at the Riverside Hall of Justice, Haro declined to speak, but Emmanuel's maternal grandmother, Mary Bushausen, did talk during the sentencing, which we kind of glossed over that yesterday. I didn't watch all that. I want you to look at me, she says. She said before the judge told her to not speak directly to Haro, which I wish they would do. I told him I would be here for his sentencing before he was arrested. He destroyed our family, and he did. He destroyed his family. He destroyed his children's life, and I hope that he rots in jail. All right, good to see you, Norma. How you doing? All right. All right, now listen. On October 16th, Haro pled guilty to second degree, the big M, on a child under 8. And then we're going to get into that after this sentencing portion about in between that and the Perkins operation, him trying to take his own life and the circumstances. Now, Assistant Deputy Attorney Brandon Smith had sought 6 years for Haro violating his probation. Remember, when he was arrested, it was due to the previous charges and the weapons violation. Now he's going to serve that time. He's going to serve 7 years, 180 days, and then 25 years to life. All right. Now, Deputy Public Defender argued for 15 to life, the maximum sentence for second degree, and thank God he got 25 to life. So for those of you that didn't quite understand the sentence, I want you to understand it. All right. Both the assault and the M charge were the same act. Polk by law could sentence Haro on only one of the charges, and he chose the harsher option, which is good, guys, because he needed that due to the other judge's faults. All right. Now, Haro's wife, Rebecca, is 41. She has pleaded not guilty to the capital M charge on Emmanuel. And also, she's charged on filing a false police report, which he is as well. Now, she's due back into court January 21st. In other instances, it says February 26th is the hearing. So we'll keep an eye out. Now, for sentencing hearing on Monday, which was yesterday, some 24 members of the public, along with media representatives, we saw the court packed, right? Emmanuel's warriors broke out blue t-shirts with baby Emmanuel's image on the front. And on the back were "Where's Emmanuel?" Right? He still hasn't told us where is Emmanuel. All right. And I just can't find any excuses for this monster. That's okay. No worries. Jay the Italian cook, good to see you. Pray for Emmanuel and the other children harmed. And I'm going to give some memberships here in a little bit when we get in. I'm so glad that he got the maximum sentence. So listen, the judge sentenced him to 6 months and a 6-year suspended sentence. That was in 2023. And his guilty plea in the child cruelty case concerning his 10-week-old child, they made an outrageous error and they know it. And that left Jake Haro free, thereby contributing to Emmanuel's death. Now, he would have never been born if Jake was in there too, but this wouldn't have happened also. On August 14th, Rebecca reported that Emmanuel was abducted. So this happened back in August, and it's crazy fast for Emmanuel to have been abducted August 14th and for sentencing and everything to be wrapped up by yesterday. All right, we saw how fast this went. She said hola, she was knocked out, the fake bruises, the fake crying, the fake pleas, and then the arrests. All right. So 2 days later, during a jealous interview with the Southern California News Group, Rebecca Haro maintained that her son had been kidnapped. She's still saying that she won't give up on her baby. She wants him home. And Jake Haro, in a separate interview, said his wife was innocent but declined to say what role. Now, this still stands, guys. He's still sticking by her innocence, and I'm not really sure why or if that's going to change. All right. I love you. The whole I love you, buddy, just kind of makes me sick. All right. Haro declined in the interview to say what prompted investigators with him to search the hillside. We still don't know. And many people still think that him taking them to look for Emmanuel's body was not a Perkins operations when in fact it was. And we're going to talk about that today too. Did he try to unalive himself after his sentence? No. He tried to unalive himself before he was sentenced and before he even pled guilty. We're talking about that today. I just haven't got to it. Let me just recap for you quickly, and then I'll get into it. So those of you that want to hear about that can. All right, now Rebecca's case is still ongoing, and we're going to see that next year, which is coming fast. All right, we saw the grandmother upset, yelling, etc. She said she never met Emmanuel. She said her family members have been branded because of the people on social media, and the speculated that other families must have known about the abuse, etc. That's their problem. That's their problem. She asked judge to give Jay Carl the maximum sentence, and that's what he received. All right. So since a lot of you guys just want to get into it right now, let's get into it right now. What's up, Sherlock Homegirl? Let's dig this up from hours ago. All right. I'm going to show you. Gunners Collective is one of the channels that I follow, and he talks about Jake tried to KLL himself in county jail, and let's talk about what's next and why he knows this. Right, hours ago. Let's get into it. I know you guys are anxious for this part, so let's go.
In the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking, and I appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So let's talk about Jakey the Snakey. Boss.
All right, Jakey the Snakey. Now you'll see what ties this guy has and how he knows and what. All right, so we're going to talk about Jake trying to take his own life before he ever even pled guilty. He did this in the county jail. He's absolutely a piece of trash. He's a monster, and he's a coward. And if any of you think that he's going to make it through his prison sentence, I would think twice. All right. I'm also looking at other channels that cover prison stories and when someone gets to prison, what happens, like P&O. And this guy came highly recommended. Rebecca said she'd seen white. Funny coincidence. Jake was wearing a white hoodie, and the grandma lied too. She said baby Emmanuel was game. All right, good to see everybody rolling in. Come on in, hit that like button, and help us get in the algorithm. Now, let's talk about Jake trying to take his own life in county jail before ever pleading guilty, and why.
Pas, not tas, but pas, motherfucker. Palo. 31 years, right?
Thank
31
you.
flavors, and he's
Thank
going to
you.
have his choice of everything, or he might not even have a choice. They might just give him 32 flavors. Fuck him, right? He's gone. Hasta la hola. Hasta la bye-bye. Hasta la nola, right? See you later, alligator. After a long while, crocodile.
Now, listen, gang members, drug dealers, people that are the lowest of the low by our standard do not respect this monster Jake Haro whatsoever. It is a rule. It is a written rule in gangs and any operations. A written rule that you don't hurt women and children. Now you can get away with the women if certain circumstances, as we see many of these men in prison. But what he did to his 10-week-old and to baby Emmanuel is unforgivable. And I don't think that he even forgives himself, and he wants to take it out the hard way. He wants to get rid of his life so he doesn't have to deal with this.
Jake Haro is now convicted, signed, sealed, and delivered to the Department of Corrections for 31 years. Now, what does that mean? That means he has 25 years to life.
Yep.
With the consecutive 6 years, 8 months ran wild, right? So if that man was ever to go to board, and I mean, just he has to be a perfect angel and just do all the programs and be just a model fucking convict prisoner, right? Which is very hard to do in the California Department of Corrections, especially with charges like baby killers, right? But if he's able to avoid all the shady moves that are coming his way, okay, and that's gonna take a miracle. But if he's willing and able to go and just put his head down and do what he's got to do and hope that no one recognizes who the fuck he is when everybody knows who he is and they're waiting on him.
Right, and I can't wait to hear about that as well. I could see you, Angel. I could see all of you. Jake Haro got arrested yesterday. What? Jake Haro got sentenced yesterday. He's doing over 30 years. And before any of this, he tried to take his own life, y'all. All right, that's what we're talking about today and right now.
If that miracle happens and he gets granted, okay, you're good, you're a model citizen, but
nope.
Oh, Spaghetti-O, you still owe us 6 years, 8 months. So it's good. It's needless to say, that guy is going to sit in prison for the rest of his life.
Exactly,
now,
guys.
I want to tell you guys
if he gets out at 65, he's useless. He's already a useless piece of trash. He knows it. He knows he was crying for himself in that sentencing.
Secret. I was told something yesterday. A little birdie whispered in my ear, right? And it was actually put out on IG and on TikTok by other people who were covering yesterday's sentencing hearing.
Yep.
And so when I was told, I thought I caught it, but I wasn't too sure. And then someone told me about it. Thank you. They know who they are. And
yeah, it's always good to get this information from people that have these other channels digging into like the Instagram and TikTok. Sometimes you get more, you get closer attention to the smaller details and the ins and outs versus like a news media station. What's up, One Love? Listen, guys, I'm about to gift some membership, so make sure that you have your gifting on and you hit that like button so you have a better chance to win a membership if you don't have one. No tears for the kids, right? All right.
I immediately started to vet it, this story, right? And as I went down that rabbit hole, I started hearing a few different people saying the same thing. So I had to go a little bit further. I had to make a few little calls. And I found out there was a lot of truth behind this. So if you remember correctly, this is Jake Haro's little secret in county jail. Well, I guess they kept it secretive for whatever reason. Honestly, it was none of our business. It probably wasn't to be put out there. But eventually everything gets put out there. Everything gets exposed. That's just how the world works. Can't hide shit, right?
And we don't want to hide from that. We want to know what a coward he is and why he did that. Now, I just gifted 5 membership, guys. If anybody has the means to gift a membership, get a membership, or go towards our goal, that would be awesome. Good to see you, Monique, Joanne Allen, Princess Allison. He didn't say where his son is. No, but we're going to talk about that as well. And if he does end up taking his life, we might not ever know because Rebecca is not talking.
Always going to find out. But when Jake initially got incarcerated for baby Emmanuel's killing, right? For being the murderer.
Yep.
The murderer of baby Emmanuel. Now we could say it. We don't have to say allegedly. We don't have to say maybe. We don't have to say she did it or he did. The fucker admitted it.
Yep.
That's on you, Holmes. Right? But while he was incarcerated in the county jail, about a week after being locked up, remember the main focus on him was this alleged undercover that they put into the cell.
Now, the undercover is the Perkins operation, guys. Good to see you, Husky. I just want you guys to be on the same timeline as I am. Jake Haro was sentenced yesterday to over 30 years. We're going back to when he first was arrested, about a week after that monster was arrested. There was a Perkins operation that went down in the county jail. And that's what led Jake Haro to be out there with law enforcement to do a search for Emmanuel Haro. All right. So we're going back a little bit before he ever pled guilty, which he didn't get a deal, guys. They did not give Jake Haro a deal at all. He got no kind of deal. And that's why he was sentenced to over 30 years. They laid it down on him. Trust me. All right. So we're going back to that. And we're going to talk about Rebecca too when we're done with this. Don't you worry. She's not off the hook.
With him, and that he admitted that he rolled over and that he killed baby Emmanuel, and then he threw him in the trash, and that fucking fake story. And then there was a lot of people that were denying that ever happened, that there was ever any undercover that recorded him secretly or got him to, admit guilt, to make,
he wouldn't have been out there. He wouldn't have been out there showing them where the body was if that didn't happen. And they wouldn't have just said that. That wouldn't have been a factor in this case at all. All right. So sometimes when they do that, they obviously don't want you to know who it was in the cell. They don't want to expose who the person was doing the Perkins operations. And they don't want you to know that they're doing that.
Whoever decided to lie about it, they lied about it.
I know.
It happened. It happened. It was put out there by a very reliable news source. But anyways, everybody's attention was focused on that. A couple days later, he was moved from that county jail to the county jail that he sits down and he resides in right now. And a lot of people were wondering why. And there was a lot of people, well, maybe they're separating him from the county jail where Rebecca is housed. Maybe there's a reason for that. And I always thought to myself, why?
No,
if you have a crimey that's a female and she's not going to be housed with you, you're not going to be in the same block. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have no action at communication. They make sure that the men and the females are separated. You might see them in booking. You might see them when they're getting out or in passing on the way to an appointment.
No, I think we're talking about another case here, Mama Sage, where the monster is pregnant, and we're talking about little Mimi Torres. This monster, Rebecca, is not pregnant. I don't know if it's just because she's got a belly on her and it looked like that when her and the Ken doll were being arrested, but no, she's not. Thank God. Mimi Torres' mom was pregnant, but that was a while back.
And they're a doctor's appointment or whatever. But the fact is, you're not going to have frequent, continual correspondence with them unless you're writing through the mail and you're allowed to. Usually when it's a crime partner, you're not allowed to write within the facility, right? Because they don't want you messing up the safety and security of the facility. That's a threat. It is a threat to the integrity of what they got going on in that county jail. So I thought to myself, why would they separate this guy? Because there's been plenty of times I've been locked up with like a homegirl. We all got caught up at a house party. There was a gun there or whatever. Everyone gets locked up. And they just house the homegirls on the other side. I know in Sandy Mush, where I used to go all the time, it's a county jail, kind of like I wouldn't say, we call it a road camp, right? It was out.
And that's why it's good to hear the ins and the outs of P&O, Gunners Collective. They know a lot more about this than I do, or some of you do. Right? I've never been in any of this, so good to know. Good to know.
El Nido, California, from Merced County. Everyone goes to Planada, Los Baños, Merced, Dos Palos. Anyways, you can find any type of character there. They did have the females on the other side of the chow hall. And so when we did work the chow hall back in the days and we were in there, you know what I'm saying, we used to get to see some titties, but that was about it.
This guy.
Was, the communication with sign language and all that. It wasn't too much of a big deal. The whole moral of that is that they didn't separate us. They didn't send us to a whole different county jail. That was where the females were housed, and that was that. Maybe it was because I come from a smaller county, a smaller jail facility, and they didn't have more action at separating us. But whatever. When Jake was separated and put in a different county jail, there was a lot of people that were saying it's because they don't want him to be where Rebecca's at. But that's kind of funny because they'll take them on, to the court together. They're in the same courtroom. They're separated, but there's a lot of communication that could happen.
Yeah, but they don't. If you guys watch the cameras and you see, and we're gonna talk about that, Barbie G. He's gonna specifically talk about him trying to take his own life after this Perkins operation and before he ever was sentenced, before he ever pled guilty, which, by the way, that was not a plea deal. Now, he kills her baby, she defends him, and now he's going on to defend her. Imagine that. Jake Haro is still defending Rebecca, and she's still defending him, which makes no sense.
And go on. Okay? It's not hard for Jake to get a hold of a family member, and then they relay a message, and there's a lot of ways to do a lot of things, if you're locked up. But that's not why they separated Jake. And now the reasoning why they put Jake in.
Guys, I always put the link in the description. This is Gunner's Collective. So there's a link to the video as well as a link to his channel. It's Gunner's Collective. And he's been in prison. He's been in jail. He knows these things. All right. He knows what's going on. And that's what we're talking about right now. This is why and where I'm hearing all of this from is from Gunner's Collective, which he heard from his other homies and jail folks on different social media platforms, Instagram, etc. Now, I had heard about this, but it didn't make it onto court TV, but it did happen.
Different facility. There could be a number of different things that go into it, but this is what I was able to uncover, what I heard from someone else first. I'm not the first person to say this, and I was able to vet and dig deep and find out. So somewhere about that week after Jake was put into that cell with that undercover, or right next to him in a cell, and he confessed,
the Perkins
that
operation,
undercover was able to extract the confession from Jake. Jake tried to unalive himself.
All right, so are we on the same page now, guys? We're on the same page. Jake and Rebecca start this madness in August, say the baby was abducted. Not too far later, they're both arrested. Jake gets taken into custody. A week later, the Perkins operation comes into place, and we see Jake out there in a field looking for baby Emmanuel, but never turned anything up. Then right after that, not only did he go out there and he told them where he thought the body was and he was going to show them, but he also confessed to them as well. Part of being able to say where baby Emmanuel was to also say that he knew what happened and he did that. And that's what he did. Now, before we get to sentencing and all that, he tries to take his own life. All right. And that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah. That happened, right? In the midst of doing that,
yes,
officers responded to his cell and he was unresponsive. They were able to revive him and bring him back. Now,
he was very unresponsive, however, and I was real surprised that this didn't make it farther into the media, that we didn't get him being unresponsive, and whatever he did to himself, he did try. It wasn't like superficial. Sometimes people are trying to get attention. They actually revived him and brought him back. Yes, he did. He tried to take his own life, and then he went on to confess. All right.
With that being said, I don't know if the initial county jail he was in had enough doctors or medical personnel on site to facilitate overseeing this guy. When people try to do that while incarcerated, from that moment on, that goes on their jacket, that goes in their file, and they got to get put on unaliving watch, if you know what I'm saying, right? Suicide, right? They got to put
the turtle suit, y'all. The turtle suit or the straitjacket, whatever you want. Let's see how far he makes it in prison.
Get put on that watch. And the way that works, man, I remember being in administrative segregation, and there was a homie that came in, and then all of a sudden he was found unresponsive in his cell. They found some sheets, whatever, right? He decided for whatever reason out of the blue to take his life. He immediately what happened
that's
was
true.
They dressed him in a smock, which is like it was like a big, thick. They took his clothes off, buck naked, put a smock on him, and threw him in a closed custody cell. But they could easily monitor. There was a camera in that cell.
Hit that like,
and he had nothing in there. And I know he stood in there several weeks. For the first 3 days, he got nothing. They monitored him, just food, right? Soft items. And
you're right. They don't want that to get to the media in that way, because then if we hear that they got caught slipping and they left something that hurt himself, he should have been on that type of watch as it is, because we don't know where Emmanuel is. We still don't know where Emmanuel is. We didn't know where he was, and that he already had confessed. They had the Perkins operation. They really should have been watching him better. And I gotta say, we gotta be grateful that he wasn't able to take his life before this, right? Wade Wilson was in a turtle suit. We saw Donna Adelson in a turtle suit, right?
Then over time, they give him like one sock, then another sock, then a blanket. He never got sheets, anything like that. These things that he would get were too thick to twist up. And then eventually he would come out of there after being monitored. They would check him every 5 minutes. And that's how that went. So Jake was definitely placed on that. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, they were going to place him on that because he was in there for a child murder. No, it doesn't work that way. They don't automatically have to place on there. You have to give him reasoning, say something, or do something for you to get placed on suicide watch, right? That's what he was placed on. So the coward,
right? And I think we just assumed that he was placed on that out of just what they do, right? Protocol. Well, that's what they did with Stephen Stearns, and Stephen Stearns claims he wasn't trying to take his life. They just did that. Donna Adelson did say she was going to take her life, and yes, Cecilia, demons absolutely exist, or this wouldn't happen. And I do love that they gave him one sock and then the other. What's up, Kel? Good to see you.
Jake, the cowardice of Jake, who will beat women, who will beat children, who will kill his own children, right?
Beat up his wife.
Couldn't take the heat, so he tried to get the fuck up out the kitchen. Now, let's not make light of it, because I've had friends and family that have been involved in unaliving themselves, right? It's a sad thing, because psychologically, you don't know what's going on in their head. Sometimes you see the signs, sometimes you don't. So shit happens, right? And I don't want to belittle anyone that's family.
Well, we do want to know where Emmanuel is. I'm telling you right now, when we get to Rebecca next, she's not talking. She is literally still in her own delusion that baby Emmanuel's out there and someone kidnapped him. I don't know why she's sticking to that. I don't know how her defense attorney can even go there, but they are.
Family members have went through that and think that I'm calling them a coward, because I'm not. But Jake, the only reasoning behind him trying that is because he wanted to take the coward's way out and didn't want to do the time. See, there's a whole lot of people out here that are willing to do the crime.
He doesn't want to get his ass beat.
They want to beat their old lady up. They want to kick the kid. They want to kick the dog. They want to do a whole lot of bullshit. But when they have to sit down,
and that's what he was doing in court, y'all. He was crying for himself. We're going to watch a clip after this.
Then they start crying. Case in point, yesterday during the sentencing, Jake didn't have him. It was a dry eye in that motherfucker, right?
That was
we'll leave the light on for you. He didn't have a teary eye.
Leave the light on.
Didn't need no Visine. His eyes were white as ghosts, right? The moment that judge started to impose sentence,
25.
The moment Rebecca's fucking mother, who I don't believe whatsoever, but we're gonna get to that, started to fucking cry and bawl. Raggy, right? He was doing the.
Oh, I love this part. It's a Raggy Roach, Raggy Roach, and that's why I fast forwarded through some of the statements, because I don't know who to believe and exactly what's going on, but I don't believe that baby Emmanuel is somewhere that we can't find him, right? And I'm glad you guys are cracking up, because I love the Raggy, right?
Raggy. Jakey the snake, he turned into Shaggy. He was doing the Raggy, right? His ass, he's seen the abominable snowman. His ass was crying.
He was crying.
Not because he unalived his son. Nope. Not because he almost unalived himself.
Because 25
like a coward because he couldn't do time. But merely because he was getting sentenced to the time that he deserves. And he deserved even more. He got very lucky. Now, his luck done ran out. Because I'm going to explain to you what's happening next. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If you hear rumors that Jake did try that, and that's why he was moved to a different county jail, it wasn't to separate him from Rebecca. It wasn't to help him in his case. It was because they had better medical staff at this Riverside County jail.
And if you guys don't think he's going to pull that again, if you don't, I mean, Joanne, you could just say he's an effing coward. If you don't think that that's going to happen again, think again. They need to make sure that they wake up and get him, take his socks. Don't even give him one sock. Don't give him any sheets. Now I know what you guys say. Let him take his own life. He's an idiot. He's a coward. He beats children. He beats his wife. He's a piece of garbage. But we don't want him to get out that easy. We want him to do his time, and we want him to talk. We absolutely want Jennifer Soto getting arrested, but that's not what we're talking about right now. All right. Not at all.
Whatever county jail he's in right now, to help facilitate monitoring this guy, because he was trying to take his own life because he's a coward. He was scared to go do time. He knew what he did. He still knows what he does. We don't know the exact words. Maybe perhaps they'll come out more from Rebecca's side, because we obviously know, if you didn't see the footprint put out there yesterday, if you didn't see the foundation set, let me run it down for you. Okay, but first, let me explain to you what's going to happen with Jakey the Snakey.
Raggy roar.
So Raggy is sitting in his jail cell today. Now, I don't know about your county jail, but in Merced County Jail, where I frequented, where I went to Tracy Prison several times from, they usually did prison transport from the county jail on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That means that you had to catch the chain early morning on Tuesday or a Thursday. Now, again, our reception, our city.
Right. So we don't even, today's Tuesday. He might have already been transported, and I'm trying to watch these channels to find out what's to come for him when he gets there. Right. I do like P&O. He's been going live a lot. I'm trying to watch all the things that are going on, because we're not going to hear this from Court TV. We're not going to hear about him getting beat up, or we're not going to hear about any of these things from Court TV. And I want to know what's happening with him. I want to know all of this.
PC reception, prison reception was Tracy DVI, okay, dual vocational institute. So we would be sent there early morning. They wake you up about 4 or 5 in the morning, send you. Now, most county jails, that's the way they do it. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays transport. So we can look forward to Jake either being transported to prison on Thursday,
today,
which is 2 days from now. Today's Tuesday.
Okay.
Or next week, Tuesday. Okay. Now, his reception, according to everything I heard, I'm not for sure 100%, because with his type of diabolical case and the type of fucking individual he is, they can send him where they want to send him, but they usually send you to your
what's up,
reception,
Gary?
Which for that county is going to be Wasco State.
Now, Rebecca, and he's talking about where he's going to go. Wasco. I'm from California here, so all of these, Merced, all that. If you're from California, you know, right? These are not these county jails are actually a lot harder than some of the prisons that they transfer you. However, when you're a baby killer, a known baby killer, and a case gets to this magnitude, you better watch out. He better watch out. All right. And the whole other thing for Rebecca. All right. A whole other thing for Rebecca.
Prison. The same reception that they sent Cain Velasquez to, right? Wasco covers a long range of counties. Wasco is also the home of the Fresno Bulldogs. That's where all Bulldogs are sent from Fresno County to Wasco. They actually are separated and have their own yards there. But this man will be sent to Wasco State Prison, I believe, either Thursday or next Tuesday. Don't quote me on that, but this is just what I'm feeling, right? And upon his arrival, he's going to be taken directly into a cage in R&R, more than likely separated or put with people that have that's very rare to be in there, a child killer, right? But other weirdos, probably essays and things like that, or he'll be separated into his own cage. Now, when he gets on that bus, there will be separated cages away from just regular seating. He'll probably be either put in those regular cages, or if it's a bus with a lot of...
Is there anybody in chat that has worked with prisons, or been in transportation, or worked as a guard, or any of that might know right when he comes, or right when he's transported, with the record of what his record is, right, of him trying to take his life? Will they put him directly into holding cell by himself and watch his mental health? I'm curious. Yeah, Jake Haro for Gen Pop 2025. He'll beg for solitary. I mean, that's what Stephen Stearns did. All right, hold on. I just got on. Jake tried to, yes, he did. Jake tried to take his own life, and he tried to take his own life before he ever even got sentenced. Remember, he pled guilty, but they did not give Jakey boy a deal. He did not. All right. Inmates will do something to piss him off. I don't know about that.
People with weird cases going that way, they'll put the active or the GP inmates in the cage. This is how it goes, right?
Okay.
No harm, no foul. He'll be taken off once he gets to Wasco prison. He'll go to R&R. Once he gets to R&R, that's when they'll be doing the questioning. There will be a gang coordinator as well as a counselor there that is going to be into doing the housing. They're going to look at his file. Of course, I believe Jake has level 4 points. He's in for a murder 2.
Yeah.
He's got 31 years and then life. Let's not get it twisted when he has 31 years to life, because he does not have 31 years to life. He has 25 years to life with a 6-year, 8-month tail, meaning he has to do 25 years to life. That's his controlling case, which is the murder. It's the highest court. It's the highest penalty case, right? Then he has 6 years, 8 months he owes him for that joint suspension.
And some people say that backwards. Some people are saying that he's got 6 years and 8 months, right? Obviously, minus the time that he's served, which wasn't much. And then he starts his sentence. And then after that, when they get there, there's a possibility of parole, but that probably will never happen due to the judge's mess up. So I want you guys to understand that he's probably going to do, if he makes it, a full 31 years, right? There's no consecutive in this sentence, all right? There's no running at the same time. It's a back-to-back, all right? Murking a child and his soul, he prison a cakewalk where he's going. Murking a child, his soul is going to be hell. Prison's a cakewalk where he's going. Interesting. I don't know how much of a cakewalk it's going to be for him, however. All right.
Basically, that was the justice for Baby Promise. That was the assault he did on Baby Promise, which was more like an attempted murder. Jake should have already been doing life.
He should have been doing life, guys. He assaulted a 10-week-old and took everything but that child's life. The only thing he left was life. She can't walk. She can't eat. She can only use 3% of her brain power, and they messed up. That should have never been his sentence. He should have never been out on the street walking.
Long fucking time ago. They charged him wrong.
They did.
Period.
They know it, too.
Period. But at least Promise got a little bit of justice. I digress.
Not much.
Right?
Not much.
So now, enough is never enough. But life is life. For those of you that are questioning life, hey, is he going to do forever? Yes, he is. Someone with that type of controlling case goes into the California prison system, whether it's SNY or not, there's not a fucking place they can put him that he's not going to be aggravated a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll just say that right now. I'm not going to sit there and say he's going to touch the yard and within 24 hours, someone's going to whack him. I don't know that. We don't know our fate. There's dudes that get on GP that are solid that go and 24 hours later, they get whacked. They didn't even touch a kid. You just never know in the prison system, but let's say this, and this is a fact, he won't go unscathed. He's going to get touched on a little bit.
I can't wait to hear about it. What I do want you guys to know, well, first of all, we want justice for Promise as well. All right. Kathy, good to see you. Thank you for sending that over. Gunners, good to see you on Guilty of Crime. Yes, I love it. I loved it. I want everyone to know what a freaking coward that Jake Haro was, and going to continue to be. And anybody that's watching this, I want them to see what a coward he's going to be. Now, the link is always dropped in the description, and it's right above you, Jennifer B. It's Gunners Collective. All right. So thank you guys for being here. We still got a ways to go. I want you to know that Rebecca Haro's court appearance is next. It's going to be in, they talked about later January, but the February court appearance is expected to be part of a preliminary hearing or a further proceeding related to those charges of Emmanuel Haro. If she continues to maintain a not guilty plea, then it's going to be heard at Riverside Justice Center in California, and the process will continue in February, the hearings and her pleas, and then ultimately it will go to trial if that's the way that she decides for it to go.
It'll be unbelievable. Oh, right. It's going to be unbelievable. Row rag. He's going to get row raggy. You know, there's ex-gang members. There's a lot of people on them yards.
It is in the description. I assure you.
Like people like him. Whether just because they're not a non-active gang member doesn't mean they don't know how to make an active knife. I'm just going to say that. So anyways, upon the question.
The link is always in the description, Clementine. I just looked at the link and I assure you, not only is his link there, but the video link is there. I don't ever forget to put these people's links in my description, but it's also in the chat as well. So I appreciate you. I think people don't understand about what the description and the links are, but it's there.
Pushing an R&R, he's going to be asked if he needs SNY protective custody.
Thank you, Dr. G.
Because he's
You
a
guys-
first termer, basically, as
If you
far as
guys
it goes
hit
to
that
prison.
like button,
And he's going to
please.
request it. Yeah, they're going to know already. They're just going to give him, he's going to be like, no, I don't want it. They're going to be like, yeah, you're getting it, stupid.
It's
We
always
can do that
there.
right up, right? If you're going to get killed, you're going to get killed over there with your own kind. And so from there, he'll be placed in the facility, or the part of the facility, the building that houses SNY inmates, non-active inmates, people that have bad charge, whatever. And from that point on, he'll be transferred out to a level 4 prison. Now, will he get 180 and all that? I don't know, but I know he will be a level 4. And depending upon case factors, points, and all that, that depends on what prison he lands on. So he can land on any.
But that's for Rebecca too. It has nothing to do with where he goes. All right, Jendi, I love him. He's near you too. Yes, he is. I'm here in California. He was doing some time in Merced. He talks about he's in California, and I don't ever get caught with my pants down with another creator's video without putting their link in my description. I assure you, that's how I keep my YouTube friends. My YouTube friend. So I just never do that. I would never want him to pop by with me using his video and me not promoting the crap out of his video. So I think they wanted to wait until he was sentenced for the hearing to support her not guilty plea. I'm not sure how they were coordinating that, but we're going to talk about that next. We're almost done talking about Jakey Boy, Raggy, and his nonsense, him trying to take his own life, not succeeding. What's going to happen next? Now we're going to talk about him and Rebecca and where's baby Emmanuel.
Prison, and they're all the same pretty much, man. Hey, you get there based upon the way you act, the respect that you treat people with, and your case factors is how you're going to be treated. Raggy. Unbelievable. Oh, right, you're done. Now, I wanted to rewind a little bit. Since we spoke on Jake, he's stuff some Stouffer stuffing. Yes, Stouffer's. The Mandela effect don't work here. Stuff some Stouffer stuffing up in him because he's cooked. Talk about Rebecca. Now, she has a long road ahead of her. And like a Boyz II Men song, she hasn't come to the end of that road yet. January 21st will be her felony conference hearing.
All right, so January 21st is the felony conference hearing. If she decides to plead guilty there, it can go as quickly as Jake's did. However, the next one is in February, I think February 26th.
And then from there on, depending upon if a deal is put out there for her, if her charges are lessened, whatever happens, we're going to find out. That's when she'll either start her trial or not. Now, she's a piece of shit. I'll just say that right off the top. For those of you that are...
And she's a mother. She's the worst of the worst. Mothers are supposed to protect their children. Mothers are the ones that give birth to their children, all right? Now, of course, fathers contribute to that, but us mama bears, no. That's how that is. We're supposed to protect our children. Cecilia, no, he's a serial herder. That's why they gave him the longest sentence they could, because he took everything but his 10-week-old child's life before he did this to Emmanuel. All right. And everybody knew it. Everybody knew that little Jakey boy, little Ken doll, was walking around free when he should have been in jail. He had an opportunity. He had a get out of jail card. He had a pass. And he did it again. And what for? What for? Why would you need to hurt that little boy in that way? All right. What? You guys do me a favor. Hit that like button if you will. Let's get in the algorithm. We're not even close to our goal today. If anyone, I know it's the beginning of the month and all the other government stuff. But if you guys have the means, that would be awesome. If not, it's free to hit that like button.
Well, maybe what? Well, maybe she was right there when he killed her son, or maybe she did it herself. I don't know. The fact remains, she has to go through the motion. She deserves as much time as Jake because she was complicit with that, because she made up that story about Ola. That says enough for me.
Ola, and you guys know, regardless, we've talked about the DV and being a horrible spot, but Jake is never going to come close to her again. She has no excuses whatsoever for Rebecca. All right. Jake has Mattel stamped on his rear and a Ken doll. And yes, Joanne, they let him walk. He did everything to that 10-week-old, but took her life. And it would have been almost better if you were to have to live with 3% of your brain not being able to walk, not being able to eat, and being in a wheelchair. You would probably rather be better off without that than what he did to his 10-week-old. All right. Awful monster. Rebecca knew it. She stuck up for him, and she still is.
Now, her mother actually got up yesterday to do a victim impact statement. I played it in my video yesterday that I put out.
Yep.
And in that victim impact statement, she wanted to address Jake. She was mad at everything Jake did without ever mentioning that her daughter also did that.
Yes.
That her daughter also made that story up. Oh, Jake was all kinds of you hurt my family. No. It seems like your children, your son that's locked up, your son that's locked up for killing his girlfriend that's doing 50 plus years, your daughter who's on trial for the murder of her own child. It seems like when she was saying his family, his this, that, like they were all bad people. Well, it seems like you didn't raise some bright spots either. Seemed like you didn't bring some good ones into this world.
And that was my issue with having her mom talk, because I'm like, wait, what about Rebecca? Are they trying to point the finger at Jake alone and let Rebecca off the hook? No. That's not going to happen.
Either. I don't want to belittle that woman. I understand what she was saying when she's being harassed and it's hard to live like that. I understand a mother's grief, right? Because I'm a father, and a father's grief is just as crazy, right? Mothers are a little bit more. They carry them in the womb, so they're a little bit more attached. I'll say this though,
I'm telling you,
your daughter's a piece of shit, and it seems like she was trying to lay the foundation to show us exactly what Rebecca's going to do. Either Rebecca's going to take a deal because they give her a decent deal, a 15 to 20, or
what do you guys think? Do you think she's going to get 15 to 20? We're going straight into that right after this.
And that foundation, her defense attorney, they got at the mom and they told her exactly what to say. Go up there, place blame. Talk about how your daughter was confused. Talk about how your daughter was abused. Talk about all the good things about your daughter, how he changed her, how she was manipulated, how he was a maniacal manipulator, which he was.
But
I don't fucking blame. And look at, man, I've seen women go through worse shit and come out.
I mean, does that let Jen Soto off the hook because Stefan is probably a born pedo and is always like that? Does that let let her off the hook? No. And she's separated now. Rebecca is separated. Jake isn't going anywhere. Why is she not talking now?
On top. Ask Jennifer Lopez from the one we had enough. She whipped some ass. So did Tina. Ike walked away like rut-row raggy. She rut-row raggy Ike. Ike went from bitch to bitch, right? So shit happens. I'm going to say this, man. She was laying the groundwork for a defense that's going to say exactly what I've been saying from the beginning. Rebecca's going to say she's beaten and battered and that this guy was a maniacal manipulator and a woman beater. We know that. He's a convicted murderer of a child, and whatever fate he gets, he deserves. So anyway,
agreed. I'm going to leave it on that because we're going to get to Rebecca. This just came out hours ago. I want you to listen to this and we'll continue the conversations about Rebecca. Now you guys know what pieces of trash all of these guys are. Go sub up if you're not to Gunners Collective to catch the inside info on a lot of things like what's happening in prison. Who knows what? All right, we got some more discussions. This just came out. Let's talk about Rebecca Haro. What's next?
The circumstances here. Given the admissions Mr. Haro himself has made with respect to aggravating factors.
And just pay attention when they were just reading this real quick. It's just a couple of minutes. This guy didn't do anything, didn't look up, didn't cry, didn't do shit until he heard the 25, and then all of a sudden crying for himself.
Accordingly, I will impose the indeterminate term of 25 years to life.
Look at that.
Now for what's tipping the scales of justice in the case of baby Emmanuel Haro. His father, Jake Haro, tearfully pleading guilty to his murder. And now, finally, had to face the music late Monday at sentencing. It was an emotional day in the court.
And Rebecca was there, but we don't know anything about that.
Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson reports.
Julie, good morning. In a last-minute decision, Rebecca Haro's mother, Mary, stood up and addressed the court, delivering a powerful and emotional victim impact statement.
I talked with him as a friend to tell me everything.
I'm not going to listen to that again. I just want to hear about
Of 7-month-old baby Emmanuel. The gallery full of investigators, journalists, and women wearing blue shirts with the baby's picture on them. The same group who helped build the growing memorial outside of baby Emmanuel's home in Cabazon.
Well, nobody's here for the baby. We're all the women that you see here over there, right here. We're the women that are here for the babies, being his voice.
And Jake Haro never addressed the court before his sentencing here in Riverside, California. It's unclear if he's going to be working with investigators to locate the baby's body or help prosecutors.
And that's what I want to find out. Is he going to continue to help with the investigation, or is he done? I mean, he said what he said. Yeah, bless these women, because baby Emmanuel's own mom didn't care enough to be there for him, to take care of him, to, hey, we do what we have to do. All right. We have children. There's domestic violence. I understand that. And that's an excuse sometimes, but right now there's no excuse for where we are in this case and with Rebecca.
In the prosecution of his wife next year. That's the very latest from the Riverside County Hall of Justice. I'll send it back to you, Julie.
Our thanks to Matt Johnson for that report. Jake Haro.
And there's the Ken doll, and there's Rebecca that's looking pregnant, but she's not.
Was sentenced to spend 25 years to life in prison for killing his son. So what about the baby's mom, Rebecca, Jake's wife? She's pleaded not guilty to the charges. So it makes us wonder, is she?
I mean, why would he? You're right. But I mean, he tried to take his own life. He knows what he's up against. Maybe it will make him look good if he does that, maybe just for himself, because we know he doesn't care about Emmanuel or Rebecca, in my opinion.
Heading to trial? And will the baby's remains ever be located? Let's talk about these things. Let's bring back in our legal eagles, attorneys Joe Tamburino and Melba Pearson. Joe, let me begin with you, please. Let's first tackle the question of Rebecca Haro. What do you expect to happen with her now?
Well, I'm quite surprised that she's not tried to work out some deal because what we know from Jake Haro, I mean, he admitted he got sentenced. He's got a prior record. I mean, a lot of things in this case surprised me. For instance, why didn't Mr. Haro tell the court or the prosecution where the body is? Perhaps he could have gotten some type of a.
But I do wonder, guys, we've been watching this case from day one, and they tried to get a sawzall. Does anybody think that they were successful in, and I hate to say this, but maybe making the body smaller, maybe cutting up Emmanuel's body, and then when he went to go look and find it, that they couldn't because the animals had taken him? Does anyone think that? Jump Flips, what's up? Her time for a plea deal is gone. Yeah, they're not going to give her a plea deal, in my opinion, and they didn't give him one. But the dum-dum confessed, and he did it to somebody that was doing the Perkins operation. All right, and then he went out and tried to show where the body was. You can't. How can you step back from that?
Lighter sentence, and now that he's been sentenced and jeopardy has attached, is he going to be available as a witness for the state in Rebecca's trial or for Rebecca? And if she goes to trial, what's her defense? Is she going to say something like battered wife, or she didn't know about it? I mean, a lot of this is puzzling, but I am surprised that she hasn't tried to work out some type of deal.
Right. I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you, because it always seemed to me, and again, this is just me, I felt that Jake Haro was manipulating her. I just got that sense that she might have been trapped in an abusive relationship, not excusing her not protecting the child as best that she could. But to me, I thought if anybody's going to be getting something here, it's going to be her. Well, now I'm wondering, Melba, because the DA's office made it clear that they gave Jake Haro no deal. This was just a straight up plea to the indictment.
No deal, guys. He, like I said, in the order of things, he was arrested. The Perkins operation hit him, and then he tried to take his own life. After that, he went into court and blew us all away by pleading guilty without a deal. I think some people don't understand that when he went in and pled guilty, that was just straight up him pleading guilty and taking what he got. And not because he's a man or because he was a stand-up guy that wants to do the right thing. It's because he thought he was going to get a deal. Now, perhaps she done away with the body. Perhaps they desecrated Emmanuel's body so badly that either we can't find him, or they don't want they don't want to get the additional charges because there's a charge for plotting this thing, and then for the actual taking of Emmanuel's life. But we don't know about the body. We don't know about the desecration. We don't know about the disposal. We have no idea what it is that they did. All right. We have no idea. And we won't know unless one of them talks or somebody runs across a small baby's body, possibly parts. I hate to say that.
No offers, threw himself at the mercy of the court for that sentence. Tell me, Melba, do you think now that he
California has
resolved his case, is she not useful to the DA's office? What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think she's necessarily useful to the DA's office from that perspective, but the question is still going to be, where is the baby's remains? Where is the baby? And she may know the answer to that question. So they being the DA's office, may be holding out to hear like, hey, if you say something, we'll work something out with you. But if you continue to basically, not give the critical information to bring this poor child home and lay him to rest properly, then they're going to proceed with the prosecution. But I too share your feelings, Julie. That black eye.
California does have the death penalty, and they don't exercise their right for the death penalty very often, but they do have the death penalty in California. But Governor Gavin Newsom placed a moratorium on the executions in 2019, and no one's been executed in California since 2006. All right. Scott Peterson got taken off death row. Now, death sentences can still be opposed in California, and people remain on death row, even though the governor's moratorium halts any executions while it remains in effect. It's still there, guys. It's still there, and you're still in a cell for 23 hours a day, etc. Jake told the Perkins operator that he threw the baby in the trash. What was that, lie number 4, number 5?
When she was giving the statement really sits with me, and she may be just staying quiet because she's still in that throes of, an abusive relationship and is afraid to speak out against her abuser. That is also a possibility. So it's all very, very concerning and disturbing, to say the least.
Yes, sure is. There's the picture of that black eye that you mentioned, Melba. And this was when they were pleading for the public's help, and she said she sustained it in this attack that resulted in the baby's kidnapping, and we know that was not true. And what we do know is true is that Jake Haro is a child beater. He's a baby.
And think about that from the beginning, guys. I just hope you guys do see that picture there, and you see the black guy that apparently we're all sleuths, right? We're all online sleuths. There's no possible way that could have been a black guy from that day taking the baby, right? We all saw it. All right, Jake can absolutely try to. You can't not give somebody the right to appeal. He has the right to appeal. Will he ever get an appeal? Nah, he's never going to get an appeal. That's not going to happen. Thank you, Jumps Flip, for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate you. So yes, people get the right to an appeal, and I know a lot of people get upset and they're like, oh no, they're appealing their case, they just got convicted. An appeal is just a technicality, guys, and that rarely happens. All right, it's rare that you're gonna actually get the appeal and then go back to the court. So yes, he has appeals. He'll probably exhaust them before anything ever happens.
He beat her. He beat his daughter first to another woman. That child is permanently disabled because of him. In my opinion, he should not have been out on bond. And now here we have baby Emmanuel dead after multiple instances of assaults, according to what police and prosecutors have shared. So dovetailing off of what you said, Melba, too, about where.
Now listen, remember, if you guys don't remember this, Emmanuel Haro, they say that he lost his life due to an accumulation of abuse. This was not a one-time Jake got mad and decided to punch him and then they were panicking, and no, this was an accumulation. And you can see this little beautiful angel's picture right there, little smiling face. And then later on in the photos, his eye kind of goes wonky. He looks a lot different in his face. You can see his head being flat in the back. It's an accumulation of abuse is what took Emmanuel Haro's life. And that's disgusting. Frankly, that's disgusting. And Rebecca did not protect this little guy at all.
Where is this baby? Are we ever going to find his remains? Joe, we saw Jake Haro taken out of the jail. We saw him in his jail jumpsuit with police early on before he decided to change his plea. And we all thought, oh, okay, he's cooperating. Could it be possible that he did lead police to the location where the baby was left, but that perhaps something else intervened in the meantime, an animal, something, and maybe we'll never find the baby? What do you think?
I think it would be quite difficult, especially in today's world with all the media and, it's pervasive, for them to have found this body and it hasn't leaked out in this type of a case. I mean, it's quite possible. Maybe he did tell them, but I just find it unlikely. I think if he told them where the body was, we would know it by now. And I'm surprised that he didn't. And, who knows? I mean, if they both did this murder together, maybe there's evidence that she disposed of the body and he truly doesn't know where it is.
Nah, that's not.
I mean, we'll find out if.
That's not. There's no way he was out there searching with his lazy coward self. No way he was out there doing that for no reason. What's up, Lynn from Vermont? Good to see you, my friend. You guys coming on in. Hit that like button for me. Let's get this in the algorithm. Rebecca stood by. Jake, in my opinion, just abused him, shaken baby syndrome, etc. If Rebecca cared about the baby, then she would tell the truth, and she's still lying, right? She's still lying.
Ms. Haro goes to trial on this.
Ooh, that's good, Joe. Maybe he's protecting her. I never thought of that because we saw in that video there where he does take.
Now, I thought about him protecting her so that she can feed his fat belly. If she doesn't get prosecuted, then he'll have somebody out there being able to give him commissary. So there's a possibility that he's trying to pull that. Instead of having both of them locked up, might as well get one of them behind or outside of the prison walls to be able to feed the other one, right? Because in the last case where he did that to his 10-week-old baby, he blamed the baby's mom, all right? Could have been set, and that's what I'm saying too. But also he could be doing this to save himself and to have himself some commissary money while behind bars. Never know. I mean,
them someplace, presumably to identify the body and bring the remains back home. But yeah, maybe that was just a way of throwing them off course, and then he pleads and doesn't have to say a word. Gosh, just awful. Well, her case has been postponed till January, so we've got some time to see if she pleads or decides to take it to trial. We've got to leave it there for now. Great discussion with you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And we're getting to the end of this. I just really want you guys to know what's happening in the case, what's next for Rebecca. A lot of people were confused about the sentence. So we've got another quick clip of the sentence and then we'll wrap everything up, all right? Let's take a look at this.
6 years to the 25. So the minimum he's away is 31. I don't think there's a chance he's going to be, getting out in 31 years. But I will tell you,
I hope not.
This is a horrible situation that could have been prevented. And by the way, authorities have said that this was a result of prolonged child abuse. And the question,
one time.
No.
And there you go. Prolonged child abuse is what took Emmanuel's life. And so you guys got to imagine if there was in my opinion, there was heavy domestic violence in that household. This guy, tigers don't change their stripes. This guy's an abuser. He abused his 10-week-old. He probably abused other children, got away with it. He abused baby Emmanuel to death. And we see the abuse. We saw the bruises and whatnot on Rebecca. He's an abuser, guys.
And the question becomes, him pleading guilty, what does that say about Rebecca Haro? Will he testify against her? Will he provide more information? I am not confident, when it was first announced that he pled guilty, that he may then tell authorities where the body is. We still don't know where Emmanuel's body is, and that's a concern.
Yeah, Kim, what do we know about the police investigation? We know that they searched fields. We have video, actually, of Jake Haro walking with police in a field, presumably looking for the baby's body. Do we have any idea what happened to this baby and why one parent has pled guilty and the other parent?
And also, what did they tell? What did he tell the people that were running the Perkins operation? Do you think there's any type of clues that they just? And I'm sure that they didn't fill us in on everything. I want to know. Did he throw them in the trash? Did he scatter the parts out there? What were they doing? What were they doing way out there in the middle of nowhere?
Has pled not guilty?
No, Elizabeth, that's what's probably the most frustrating about this case. We have no idea what's happened to this baby boy. We know that
nothing.
Jake Haro has taken law enforcement from day one on this complete wild goose chase, never intending to tell us the truth where baby Emmanuel's body is. He did that from day one going into custody. And his counterpart, Jake's wife, did the same thing when making the report about this baby going missing. It was complete wild goose chase. There was no truth to it whatsoever. Both Jake and his wife have done nothing other than tried to lead us away from what the truth is and where this baby's body is. And I think him pleading guilty to these charges so early on in such the beginning stages of these proceedings.
Very early on, the baby went missing, or they said the baby went missing in August. And we're November 4th, and he's already signed, sealed, and delivered his fate, doing 31 years. And she's about 2 months away.
Tells the world he knows how heinous this crime really is, and he's afraid of what we're going to find if we were to find what the prolonged injuries and abuse really are to that baby.
Kim, do you think it's possible that it was in fact just him who killed the baby, and that's why he pled guilty, and that Rebecca had nothing to do with it?
No.
Is it possible? Maybe, but why would Rebecca make up this entire story and go along with it, telling
to cover for her husband? You know, some women do crazy things sometimes for.
Yeah, but what about the baby? Where's baby Emmanuel?
Well, that is true. And maybe that's what she's doing. And we would hope to God that she would come forward and tell the truth as to what really happened to baby Emmanuel. But it seems as though she knows more than she's telling us. And she knew something long before, we had come to the conclusion that his body was never going to be found because she made up this story. So I believe she took part in it and helped him cover it up. And that's what it seems from the evidence.
Yeah.
What is her defense, Jesse, going to be? I don't understand, given the fact that she did lie elaborately on the day that she reported the baby missing, told this elaborate lie, being hit in the head and these people coming up behind her. It was very reminiscent of the Susan Smith scenario. You went on TV, said, please bring my baby back. That was all a lie.
Well, that's what authorities say. They say that all of her stories were inconsistent. Look, there's a lot we don't know about this case.
Well, unless it was Jake Haro banging her on the head and taking the baby. It just doesn't make any sense.
There's no way she wouldn't have known that. She's sticking up for him. She's still standing behind her man, so to speak. And hopefully justice is served just as swiftly for her. All right, guys, we're almost there. Hit that like button, subscribe, all the things, share. Thank you guys for being here today.
The problem, when you have a no-body case, you can still prosecute somebody.
Welcome, Gloria.
It's difficult to get a prosecution, but with him pleading guilty and with evidence where they say they have an idea of what happened, it's not looking good for her.
Kim, are they continuing to search for the baby, the police?
Exactly.
My understanding is yes, they will continue to search for his body. From my understanding.
I wonder where they're going to search. That's interesting that they're going to continue, and I hope that they do, but where are the resources coming from? And where are the resources going to? I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Is what we think happened, which is he's in waste management somewhere. It's not likely his body ever will be found at this point in time.
Waste management.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
All right, guys, you heard that. If they put him into the landfill somehow, or he got there, they obviously did something with the body, and we don't know Where's baby Emmanuel? I ask you. Jay Caro was sentenced. He's in there 31 years. He also tried to take his life. So let's see what a coward he is now that he's transferred. All right. In my opinion, he's been a coward the whole time. Only men, only cowards, only pieces of trash, garbage, men, women, whatever, that abuse their children and domestic violence, do domestic violence to their partners, spouses, 10 weeks old, 7 months old for months and months, are cowards. And that we now know that he's a coward, and he tried to end his life before he ever gave us any answers. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. I hope to see you guys back tomorrow. Again, I'm still trying to catch up from everything and Halloween. That's still, we're 5 days past, and I'm like, I'm still tired. But let's see what's coming out tomorrow. Wyatt, good to see you, big coward, huge. He's gonna get the shit knocked out of him in prison, and I believe that too. Good night to everyone. Love you, much love. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button, share this, get in the algorithm, and we'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you all, and see you soon. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?